Hey guys, today I'm going to show you how to make a beautiful knotted rainbow chakra necklace. So we have a nice long ruler and our knotting tool, which is sort of like a needle but not quite as sharp at the end. Our jewellery glue, which is the hypo cement, and a plastic screw clasp. So first thing you want to do is choose out your cotton colour. So I'm making a nice bright necklace, so I've chosen a bright yellow today. And then we need to make sure we've laid out our jewellery design. So I like to put it all down on my beading board first, lay it all out in the right design. That way I can double check it, make sure I'm happy with it, and also make sure it's all in the right order. So we're using 6mm beads today, and we've laid them out in a beautiful rainbow design. So we have purple, which is amethyst, the blue is sodalite, apatite is this gorgeous aqua colour, green agate, champagne amber is the yellow, carnelian is the orange, and then we've got red striped agate for the red. Don't know if you can see that up close, but it has a really gorgeous stripe through it, so it's going to be lovely for our red. So you really just want to take some extra time while it's on your beadboard to and just double check it, make sure it's all okay now before you start your design. Now we organise our cotton twine and our plastic screw clasp. So when I'm making knotted jewellery, I like to make my twine double the length of the necklace. So today I'm doing an 18-inch, so I'm going to measure out 18 and then another 18 inches. And then I like to add 10 centimetres as well, just so that you've got some wriggle room for the cord fraying and so that you've got something to hold to do the screw clasp at the end. So the first thing you want to do is tie a nice tight little knot at the very end of your twine. And then you thread your plastic screw clasp. So you can see it's got two ends and a plastic screw that goes up the middle. So we thread the first part of the clasp from the inside, so that means that the little knot is going to be on the inside of the clasp. So thread it right through to the end and then grab your jewellery glue and just pop some onto the knot on each side, and then pull it nice and tight into the clasp, and then we're going to do our first knot, and that will secure our plastic clasp on the end of our cotton thread. Now I'll show you this knotting slowed down again in a second when we start threading our gemstones on. So we're just using that knotting tool there, pulling it nice and tight. And there's our clasp, now attached nice and securely to the end. And that's the start of our necklace. So now we can go ahead and start threading our gemstones on. So it's really important with knotting too that when you place your bead on, you pull it onto the knot nice and tight. So that helps to tighten the knot as well. So just wrapping around our finger and then pulling the tail through the loop, we then place the knot with our left hand down on the table, and with our knotting tool on the other side of the knot, just pull it nice and tight. Then you take your knotting tool out and place it at the top of the knot on the other side and just push it a little bit just to make sure it's nice and tight up against the bead. Then you can just make sure it's nice and secure with your fingernail there. It's important to make sure your knots are nice and tight so that when someone wears the necklace, it doesn't gradually get longer as the knots kind of go tighter, and it also keeps the beads nice and safe as well. So just pulling your gemstones on nice and tight, tighten that knot, double check that it's nice and tight. Then we're going to wrap our cord around our finger and pull our tail through. Then with your knotting tool, place it inside the knot, pull it nice and tight up against the gemstones, take it out and place it on the other side of the knot and just pull it or push it, and then just double check it with your fingernail. Okay, so I'll do it again nice and slow. So we pop our bead on and pull it right down to the end, pull it nice and tight onto the knot. Then we just wrap our cotton twine around our finger and pull the tail through to make a simple knot. Then with our beading tool, place it inside the knot and pull it up tight against the bead. Then you remove your beading tool, pop it in the other side of the knot and just push it tight. Then you can secure it with your fingernail. Now we just continue on for 18 inches. Okay, so now we're at our 18 inches for our necklace. We're ready to put our plastic screw clasp on. It works out well actually because the design is finished, the rainbow is finished. Actually, it's got one more red striped agate, so I'll just pop that red one on and then the full rainbow is complete for me to put the clasp on. So now we're going to pop our clasp on. So the first thing you want to do is thread it on, and it's going to go on backwards this time. So you thread the cord into the little hole at the back. So that the clasp is going to be able to join up with the other clasp. So just through that little hole in the back. Now, this is why it's good to have a nice little tail in there, because you need to hold it really securely. So holding it nice and tight, wrapping it around my fingers in my left hand, I just grab my jewellery glue, and it's got a nice little stalk on the jewellery glue, so I can pop it right down inside the clasp. So I just make sure I'm going right to the end and then up the thread of the inside of the clasp, and also the thread of the cotton twine that you're using as well. So then holding it nice and tight with my left hand and just grabbing the inside of the screw clasp and twisting it in a way that the thread's not twisting, if you get what I'm saying. So the cotton is not twisting around, because if it does, it's going to pop out the back of your clasp. So you just got to make sure that you're holding it nice and tight, and then you won't get a gap at the back. You want it up nice and close to that back knot. So nice and tight, just making sure. If it's not tight or if it's gone out the back right now, you could unscrew it and just redo it again right now while the glue's still wet. So I normally leave this for a couple of hours. I wouldn't screw it right now either. But I'll just show you today just snipping off that little bit of cord. So up nice and close to the clasp, I just very gently snip it off. And then we've got our necklace, but I won't screw it up just yet. And there we have it. That's our 18-inch rainbow chakra necklace.